Welcome to the My School Anywhere Go Live class. This class is designed for our Plus customers who will be accessing the directory online and from mobile devices. If you're watching this class, you're getting pretty close to being done with your setup, so congratulations, you should be getting excited. These are the final steps of your setup. At this point, if you're interested in learning about the online setup, you pretty much already or soon will complete the earlier steps in the back-to-school process. These include, for returning customers, graduation and promotion. They also include reviewing your account settings and your options, and you're probably right around the point of confirming with returning families as well as collecting data from new families. So let's review the online setup. There are 4 parts that we're going to go over in this class. The first is the home screen. This is the display that parents and faculty will see every time they access the directory, either from a computer or their mobile device. Next, you have the option of adding sponsor ads, and we'll get into that. Once your setup is complete, you'll want to grant access to the directory to parents and faculty. And finally, what good is having the access if they don't know it? You'll want to send them an email with links to the directory as well as their temporary password. So this is going to kind of be our home page for this class, and we're going to go deeper into all 4 of these areas. Let's start with the home screen. So now we'll review the setup for your online directory home screen. If accessed from the computer, we have one setup, and then from the mobile message, another setup. Here's from a computer. I'm going to give you a visual example so we can kind of talk through it and have you get acclimated. On the left-hand half of this screen is all customizable, and we'll get into that in just a minute. Over on the right-hand side, you see a red button that reads, "Please visit our store." That only appears if you have the PayPal store activated on your account. If you don't, you won't see it. In the rightmost column are all of your optional sponsor ads if you choose to use them. Back to the customizable area. In the top left area, there's an obvious graphic. This is a logo that has been uploaded, and it will center above any of the customizable text that you define below it. In this example, we have our customizable area is a very brief paragraph with a little graphic followed by our online school calendar that has been embedded into this area. So the customizable area that we just reviewed should be welcoming. You want your parents and faculty to feel a familiarity when they log in and know that they're in the right place. Below that, with your customizable additional information, some ideas you might want to include are your board positions and how to contact them. Draw attention to upcoming events. As you saw, we embedded a school calendar. Some schools like to have reminders for appropriate use, reminding parents that this information should not be used for solicitation. Now we do have a logo upload for that area which I mentioned to you. I'm going to go ahead and give you a demo of how we did that. Everything we're talking about in this class can be found in the online directory portion of your menu. We're going to go into the setup. The first tab brings you to the home message. This is the customizable section that we saw in the display online. For the home screen accessed by a computer, if you want to have a logo appear above this, you would have to upload one. And here we see the logo that we're familiar with. I'm going to go ahead and delete that just so you can see how we got that there in the first place. I will first of all cancel out and point out that this file must be in a JPEG format of less than 100 kilobytes in size. So I'll go ahead and click on Upload. And I'll look for it, and there it is. And upload. And because it's a JPEG, less than 100 kilobytes, it took it right away. If it's not meeting that format, it will give you a message warning you that you're not meeting that format. Next, we have the mobile message. The mobile message is different, as I mentioned, because a device is so much smaller than a computer screen. At the top, the graphic is not an uploaded image, but a public file on the internet that you've linked to. If your school, before I show you this, your school may already have an image that's available for you to use. And if they do, fantastic. You can link to any public image that you want to on our system. If you don't find one, you can create a public image by uploading it into a Dropbox account. And that's what you're going to see here. Here's our image. And if we go to the beginning, you'll see that the location is a Dropbox account. Now, the image is small. We've made it nice and small because it's going to be on a mobile device, but it didn't start out this small. If I click this button, it'll reset it to its original size. There it is. I'm going to resize it again for the directory, and that doesn't seem right, does it? That's because I changed the width, but the height stayed the same. I'm going to reset it back to the original, and this time I'm going to lock the aspect ratio and shrink it down again. And now you'll see that it shrunk proportionately. So I'll accept that. And again, we kept our text very, very simple because we don't have a lot of space to spare. So that's pretty much the setup for your online directory. Now let's go back, and here you'll see that same example with the sponsor ads below it. So let's talk about the sponsor ads. As you've seen, the online directory sponsor ads will appear on the right-hand side of the screen, and on mobile devices they'll appear below the message, as you see there. And if there's many, you can scroll down. But for those customers who are not interested in soliciting online advertisements to offset or possibly profit from, you can use them for your own personal purposes. You can enter sponsor ads just to include your own school website calendar or a school flyer. So there are other uses for them that may just be self-serving, so that's something for you to consider. And for that reason, I'm going to go in and do a little demonstration, just show you a little bit more about them. There we go. So when you click on sponsor ads in the online directory setup, you will be brought to a page that shows you the ads that are existing. Again, this is the demo site for My School Anywhere. So here we have a list of 8 ads that we have set up. And we have selected the position, the order in which we want them to appear. On the left-hand side, we can delete any that we want to remove. There's all kinds of information about them here. If you want to add a logo, we can do so there. If you want to add a new sponsor ad, we would just click up at the top left and get a blank screen. I'm going to go ahead and edit one so you can see how this has been set up. This is kind of an ad for an ad. It kind of gives you an idea of the text that you'll be filling out, the order placement. You can decide what order you want them to appear in. You have a choice of whether or not you want this ad to appear on the home page when you first log into the directory, or from a search page when you're looking for a student, family, or faculty. This is a nice way of breaking up your ads. If you have 20 ads or so, you can have 10 appear on the home page and 10 appear on the search page so that they all get a really nice piece of real estate. At the bottom, we have activation dates. You can set up ads far in advance of when you want them to appear this way, which is very nice. Know that if you must have a date in both of these fields. If either of these fields is blank, your ad will not display. Now, so that you don't have to log out as an administrator and log in as a parent in order to view the ads as you're going, and because as you enter your work, you want to see how you're doing. I've set it up. What's it going to look like? So we have these little shortcut buttons here so that you can go ahead and just click and see on the home page this is all the progress I've made. Everything I've set up, this is how it'll appear. And the same for your search page. These are all the ads that have been set up for the search page. This is really handy so you don't have to log in separately as a parent. So that's pretty much the sponsor ads, to give you a little idea of those. Now, there was one more part of setup that you're going to want to do before you move on to granting access, and that is actually setting up your online email. The reason I have them laid out in this order, though, is this is the order that you're going to be flowing out. You want to do your setup, you want to grant access to parents and faculty, and then you want to email them. But at the time you're granting access, your email really should already be set up, but you're not ready to send it. So after your setup is done, you're ready to grant access. So let's talk about granting access now. Let's just take a moment. This is pretty exciting. Your setup for your online directory and your email are done. You are ready to turn the key. Let's just take a breath and make sure that all of the things you should be thinking about are in place. Your returning family confirmation, for the most part, should be done. Some customers like to grant access to families that have already confirmed their information, even if the confirmation period hasn't been completed. You want to think about this, but if you've thought through it very well, then that might be your situation. The other thing you want to consider is for those families that have confirmed their information, some of them will have put in some very poignant notes. You really need to review all of the notes that families have put in and make any edits. Now, right now you might be thinking, what is she talking about? What notes? Let's just jump over and take a look. Under your eConfirm, we'll go into the confirmation process, and we're going to go to your returning families. Right here, there's parent comments. And some of them will be like, great job, so excited, they know who you are, they might say, hi and your name. I'm going to jump down. Some of these are going to be, this is a test site, so a lot of these are going to be not that realistic, but here's one that you'll see a lot. I have another student in our household with a different last name. How should I enter her? Well, this is a situation where you'll want to get in touch with this parent and explain that if they have two children in the same household with two last names, they really need two directory entries, one for each last name. Those students are going to be searched on by their last name, and they need to be found. So here's a situation where this family has confirmed, but they're not done. They need some assistance, and you need to guide them through making an additional entry. Some other things you're going to want to check are done with some standard reports that we offer. First, reviewing any unassigned students. After you or parents have gone through and matched up as many students to teachers as you can, you'll want to question those that are left. Maybe they've moved out of your school system since the last year. In addition, we'll look over any possible duplicates. So I'm going to jump right into our report area to show you how to do this. Down here under Administrative Reports, you'll see one called Unassigned Students, and I'll just select that. And here are the students that have yet to be matched up with a teacher. I would just print this out and take this into the school office and just ask them, are these people still in the school, and maybe assign them to teachers, or delete them if they're not. In addition, down over here we have another couple of reports, potential duplicate families. So I'll go ahead and run that, and you'll want to work through these. There's something going on with these people. They have two entries in the directory that match up on address, phone number, some different pieces of information are identical. So let's just take Taylor, for example, and I'll go back over to the system and we'll take a look and see what's going on there quickly. So here right at the bottom you see there's two Taylors that have students Savannah, parents' names are the same, but the emails are different. And that's how they were able to create a second entry. So I would dig in deeper, going into each of these records to see which one is, maybe has more information than the other to keep, and communicate with them, and delete one of the two. Maybe carrying over some information or putting some in a family note. I'm just going to go ahead and delete one of those. And then if I go back to the reports, if I close this out and do the duplicate families again, you'll see they no longer show. Then we'll look at duplicate students. And here we have the Davidsons, Sarah. Let's take a look and see what's going on with the Davidsons. Yes, I do see there's two Sarahs. Let's take a quick look and see. They have, both of them are in the same grade, the same teacher, so they probably just lost track as they were entering and entered one of their children twice. So just take that one out. And that's just another way of double checking your data to make sure that, that it's in good condition. You'll want to know who you should be granting access to. Will it be for all parents or only those who've joined your organization? And once you have finished all of these, yes, I've reviewed all of that information, then you're ready to proceed. Just before you really flip the switch, one last final review of your online setup. No matter how ready I think I am, I really appreciate a final peek and a tweak. I walk through, and maybe it's been a day or two and something else has popped into my mind, but it's just good to review one last time before you go live. So take a look at your homepage setup, your access email, your sponsor ads. If everything looks good, you're ready. Before giving access to everybody in your community, you might want to send it to a few friends or board members for feedback. Have them go through the process. Send them their emails. Have them take a look. Was it a smooth flow? Did they have any questions? Was anything confusing to them? And once you get that feedback, you're pretty much ready. You can grant access to large groups in your school. You can do this by parents, by members, either at the family level or the individual member level, which would be parents. So that way, if you are a PTA, which tends to be more where you see an individual membership, you can grant access by each parent as they become a member. And don't forget, you also want to grant access to your faculty. So let's take a quick look at this. Online directory, granting access, and here you can kind of see, I'm going to try to zoom in here a little bit so you can see this a little closer, the groups by which you can grant access. So here you see, grant access to all parents, to members, either family or individual, grant access to all faculty, and this is just a fail-safe if for any reason you need to remove the access, if you acted prematurely or for whatever personal reason you might have that you wanted to do that, just knowing that you can is there. Separately, if you wanted to, for doing a test for those individual friends or board members that you want to have take a walkthrough, this is how you would do that within Select Parents. And you would look for them and grant access. So you've granted access. Very exciting. But nobody knows they have access. So the last step is to send out an email to them, telling them so, and giving them the links that they need to get to the directory as well as their temporary password to do so. Typically this email is only sent once a year for the parents. You're going to want to have some instruction in here for them as well in your email setup, and we'll take a look at that again. Remember, at the bottom of your email content, My School Anywhere is going to automatically add the 2 access links and the temporary password. So in your email content, you'll want to use some verbiage such as, click on the links below. Below you'll find a temporary password, because you can trust that below will be that information. So let's take an example. So here's an example that we can review. Up top you have the familiarity. In the subject, you now have access. That's going to grab their attention right away. And down below, we have below are the links for accessing the directory as well as your temporary password. And you can change your password during or after logging in. And then I have some tips. Because this is a school that's below high school, I just advertise that they can search for who's in their child's class or cluster by searching on student and teacher, because we will plan to be live before school starts. Also, suggesting that they bookmark this site for return visits. And then a link for information on how to add a logo to their mobile device homepage. I'm just going to give you a demo of how this works. So I'll go into the online setup and send email. And I'm going to send to select parent. So you can see the whole flow of the email going out. Mom Waters, I obviously lack in creativity for first names. Just go ahead and send that. And it has sent. So I am going to switch over to my email and collect my incoming mail. And 4:55, giving away my trade secrets here when it's quiet in my house to do a video. And here you see the familiar graphic, little custom paragraph, thank you for being a member, the link for the online instructions. I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut to copy my password and click on to the new site, put in my username and my keyboard shortcut to paste in my temporary password, and voila, I'm in. So there you just saw it, from setup, sending the online email to the parent's email account. They click on it, open the email, they copy and paste their temporary password into the link you've given them, and it's come full circle, and we're live. So pretty exciting stuff. And lastly, if you would like to have any assistance in helping you with your own wording, we do have some sample wording for the email as well as the online directory screens in our Solutions Center. I'm just going to click on this. It'll bring it right into our Solutions Center. And here you see, do you have some sample text for the Access email? And yes, we do. And just a moment about our Solutions Center. We have so much helpful information in our Solutions Center. And the entries here have been done with a lot of thought and care and return visits to make them as ideal as possible for you to visit. Sometimes when we talk in person or we're doing training classes, there's little bits and pieces that we may not remember off the top of our heads, but the Solutions Center has really well thought out groupings of information for you. And I highly encourage you to visit it whenever you have a question to see if there's a really great little text tutorial for you there. And a lot of times there's also videos. So when you send your online email, initially you're going to send it to all, but on returning visits, when you have additional batches of parents that enter their information, you can also send it to parents or teachers who have not yet had their password sent. And this is especially important for the online email, not just to reduce the inundation of emails that you're giving parents, but whenever you send an online email, you are resetting their passwords and giving them a new temporary password as an automatic inclusion in the online email. So you really don't want to send to all more than the one initial time. And I'm just going to take you online to show you a little fail-safe that we have in place for that. When we send to all, you'll notice that your first choice is not all parents. It's your second choice. And you will start here. But the choice that you're going to use more often than not is the top one. And that is It's not my first time, but maybe it's my second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh time sending this out just to capture the stragglers that are coming in later in the process, those who I haven't reached yet. So it's good to know the first time you're doing it very purposefully, but thereafter you're just taking your top pick to those who haven't yet gotten it. And the same goes for faculty. So that's the online directory class. Very excited for you. You must be very close. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to look into our Solutions Center for additional support. If you want to submit a ticket with a question or a concern that you have or a suggestion, please feel free to do so. If you feel you have several questions or some really unique situations that you want to have a real-time conversation with to exchange, go ahead and sign up for a phone call. I'm going to take you there right now to our website, myschooolanywhere.com. I typed it wrong, 10 extra. And if you go under Help to Support Center, you'll see all of those options available to you. First, you can support the knowledge base, which really is an amazingly powerful tool. And it can be used at 6 in the morning or 11 at night, which is when most of us great volunteers are working. And you can attend an online class, just like the one that you've just watched. You can submit a support ticket for more information, and we're really quick about turning these around. And then finally, if you want, you can schedule a support phone call. And in doing so, you will see the choices that you have, and you can just book a time based on your calendar. I'll just go ahead and say, need some support. I'm in the Eastern time zone. And you'll see right here, if you click on any day, we have times on every day of the week. And you can just select one of those times, and we will look forward to helping you through so that you feel confident and you have a smooth rollout. So I hope that the class has been helpful to you, and I wish you the best of luck.